Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yep, I'm finally back after my week-long holiday. I'm finally here to talk about the next two chapters of Witch Watch, chapters 205 and 206. Now, before I get into them, I want to say, had a great holiday, got lots of pictures, really enjoyed driving the boat and going along the UK canals, really loved it. Going to be doing another one next year, and fingers crossed, eventually getting our own boat to do them without having to pay for holidays, like come and go as we please. So yeah, really enjoyed it. But for now, we've got a lot to get through today, so we'll just dive right into the chapter. So we start off with chapter 205, which is called Glimpses of Bodyguards. Now, when I first saw this chapter last week before I went on my holiday, I thought like, oh my god, like, this chapter is gonna be a lot of fun, and it was. So we start off with Marine, who is Nico's friend from middle school, who is like, there is an evil witch after. Like, basically, Nico is telling her the story of the series. Like, there's an evil witch after me. I'm the witch of 1,000. People want me because I'm the one who's going to be the vessel for the witch that they're trying to revive to start this whole war paradise thing for the witches again. So now I have to make sure that I have a bodyguard wherever I go, day in, day out. This includes school, and Marine's thinking like, oh my god, this is like some kind of manga, like from Shonen Jump. Is this kind of like, are you advertising for Shonen Jump here? Which is kind of funny because it is actually exactly talking about the series that they're in, which is being published in Shonen Jump. I love that joke that they do here. And Marine asks like, wait, then should you even be out? Like, basically, I said, wait, if there was even an organisation out here after you and you're here, like, should that be okay and everything? And yeah, she says, oh, it's fine because I always have a bodyguard with me for school. I'm bringing Ban with me, who is in a small dragon form, which Marine obviously mistakes for one of Nico's pets. And at home, and she explains, like, at home I've got Mori and 3 other boys watching out for me. I've got a whole squad of bodyguards. And Marie's like, oh, Lucky, you're so jealous. You basically have your own reverse harem, which, yeah, we don't get a lot of them. Like, it's always like the boys, the main character, with the girls playing with him. Like, we don't get a lot. Like, the one of the only ones that I can think of the top of my head is Oren High School Host Club as like a reverse harem. Maybe Kaguya-sama can count as well, but that's not really a harem. It's like more like just straight up romance series. But yeah, that's the point. That's the point of this. Like, Marine's so jealous of it, and Nico's just like, oh, really? I don't really understand. That doesn't seem all that special to me. And Marine's like, no, it is because any girl would love to essentially be you. You're a witch. You've got these bodyguards coming after you. You can cast all these spells. Like, who wouldn't want to be you, Nico? And Nico confirms like, oh yeah, I guess they're all kind of handsome in their own particular way, and you just have in her mind all the boys imagine like what they would actually say. Like, obviously Keigo is indifferent to it. Khan is just there like, oh really? Well, I never really thought of you as that Nico, but okay. Miryu's like, no way, there's no way you actually think of me as something like that. And Rary goes on and says, oh my gosh, don't tell me there's romance involved too. And yeah, this is where again they're bringing up the fact like, yeah, it's gonna get awkward when she's back to that normal, and Maury's gonna be like, oh crap, am I meant to be in love with Nico? Like, it's good. I am really looking forward to that moment where that is actually properly addressed in the series. So they continue off the conversation with Nico asking Marine, you're curious about that, right? I wouldn't say there's absolutely nothing there, but there's all pros to every kind of relationship, but they're on the job, so in my opinion romances aren't really allowed. Yeah, Nico, You say that now, but when you get back to being a high school student, you are gonna be like thinking like, oh, romance is totally back on the table now. Before she asks Maureen if she wants to go shopping, and she can actually make her bodyguards tag along. But she doesn't know if she'll actually be able to see them because they'll be sneaking around everywhere, making sure that Nico is safe, not really interacting. They'll be blending in the crowd, keeping a low profile, staying out of sight and everything. And Maureen thinks this is just like the coolest thing ever, but then we cut to later when she's actually explaining everything to the boys themselves, and she's like, and they're like, what the heck were you thinking? Is that how we're actually gonna have to do this in this whole situation? Now you want us to go all out shopping, hanging back and coming out at the right distance while guarding you. And Nico's like, yeah, the whole guarding thing was just for like, she was basically like just beefing it up for Maureen, like, oh, I'm so jealous, like, oh, you want to know, like, they're gonna be my bodyguards, they're gonna come out and hang around, they're gonna look after me and everything, Nico. I mean, technically they are her bodyguard, so she's like, well, she says guarding thing is just for show, but like, nope. It's not only just for sure, that is exactly the whole purpose of these characters. They're meant to guard you in case something bad happens, Nico. So you're not entirely wrong here. But yeah, she says as long as you act like your cool bodyguard straight out of the movies, that would work. And you can see where this is actually going. Now, one of these movies, I had no idea what movie they were spoofing when it actually comes up. But I had to look it up, and it's like, oh, it's one with Natalie Portman in her first feature film. I might actually have to see it at some point. So yeah, continuing on, they go. Then Maureen will be like, wow, how cool is that? You have so many potatoes. I'm so like, again, Nico building herself up just to make Maureen more jealous of her. And Mario asks, like, what precisely is the cool bodyguard idea that you're actually going for? I don't know why, but I really wish he had put it in quotations like that. So Nico explains, it's like, oh, it's just, no, you're just gonna have to be super cool, feel like you're in the movie, just standing around, hanging around corners, blending in everywhere. And they wear outfits that doesn't really stand out, but you can still call them a bodyguard. They'll totally blend in with the crowd and have this stance and this gleam in their eyes that says that they mean business, and they're hidden, but they'll still give glimpses that they're actually there for you. And everyone's just like, make up your damn mind, Nico, about what exactly role of bodyguard we'll have to be playing here. Like, there's so many different types of bodyguards. Like, pick one and stick with it. Don't pick them. Don't pick them all. Do you want us to be seen or not? Which is it? And Nico is like, oh, no, can't you say, like, just stand on the edge instead of being spied, slipping in and out of sight is what makes it cool. And Khan's like, no, it makes it damn annoying, and you don't need four of us on a plain old shopping trip. And yeah, Khan is right. I mean, Maury could very easily do it all on his own, but that's besides the point that they're missing here. As Nico says, it won't be long before I'm back to my old self, right? Don't you think it'll be smart to practice real bodyguard stuff now while you have the chance? I mean, yeah, they haven't really. I mean, they have been doing this. I have been doing this on occasion, but straight up, like, okay, we're in a serious fight now. Like, they've not had like a real serious, like, straight up fight since the day of disaster, so it might be a good idea for them to actually get back in the fight. I'm surprised Nico didn't actually bring that up, like, you guys have not actually seriously fought since the day of disaster, so this would be a great chance to get back into that frame, get yourself, because you might feel a little bit rusty for when I eventually go back to my regular self. And the fact that Nico says this right here makes me feel like, yeah, at some point in the next, like, 10 or so chances, we will be getting Nico back to her regular self, which is a shame, because again, like I said, it would mean that Charming isn't going to be like needed as much anymore. Although, again, that would be kind of interesting. Like I said, like if the roles are reversed, Nico has to teach something to Charming, basically. Charming becomes the student while Nico becomes the teacher. That would be kind of interesting to bring Charming back into the story. So Nico carries on trying their best to explain, like, oh no, this is how the thing is gonna go and everything, but is like, again, totally disagreeing with her, thinking it's a bad idea, and they don't know if they'll ever be around or not. You're just worried about being taken care of, Nico. Oh, okay. And Nico is they're thinking like, me going on a shopping trip isn't enough to make them get all serious, so I'll have to use a little bit of reverse psychology here. And she just says to them like, okay, never mind, forget about that. I just want to know, like, which of you guys thinks is the best bodyguard. And of course, literally as soon as she says that, they're all there like, am I the best bodyguard? Am I the best bodyguard? Am I the best bodyguard? And she, again, said, I wonder if Nico, if we get to this point in the anime, it's going to be like, oh, when it comes to your fight, you have each other's specialties, but I'd say you're about equal overall, but like bodyguard skill or stuff, I wonder who'd be the sharpest, looks out, or the quickest start. Basically, again, like I said, using reverse psychology to kind of get on the skin, to kind of get them to be in this situation. And as she walks away to go to bed, she whispers in with Ban, and of course, bang on cue, every one of them is thinking like, oh, in that case it's gotta be me, no, it's gotta be you, no, it's gotta be me, no, it has to be me, and everything. I'm better, you didn't need to add that last bit, like basically arguing about who they're gonna be. So now they are all agreeing to be on to go out for the shopping trip, and Ban like actually calls out Nico like, you know, this was like kind of cruel on your part, Nico. And Nico is just thinking like, yeah, I know it was, but it was the most efficient way I could think of. So on the day of the trip, Maureen meets up with Nico, and Maureen's asking like, oh, so where are your bodyguards? Are they around or anything? And Nico's just there like, good question. Maybe yes, maybe no. They could be around, blending in with the crowd and keeping me safe. I'm not sure. And again, Nico thinks that this is like the coolest thing ever, and so does Maureen, because she's like, oh my god, the stuff that you said is actually true, Nico. I can't believe this. And Nico thinks to herself, for all their goofiness, they're really cool when they want to be. I'm sure they're all hanging around somewhere in the crowd nearby, the pictures of cool, awesome bodyguards, but of course they're not. They're all separated from each other and all have distinct ideas of what to make a bodyguard. And as Nico sees Kay go dressed up in his bodyguard attire, she's just feeling like just the embarrassment on her face. And she's like, oh yeah, Maureen, let's go over there. I want to hit this store over there. As she mentions that this is Leon, and Leon is I'm gonna look it up again because I know it was from the first film that Natalie Portman did. Leon bodyguard film, bodyguard movie. What was the name? Leon the Professional. So like Keigo is spoofing Leon the Professional again. Never seen the film. Don't know much about it. So it's something I can't really comment on. Now there is something I can comment on, which I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that they actually went there, but they did, and it's with Mori later on in the chapter. But for now, Nico says, no, really, I know that was Keigo, but he looks like Leon from that one movie. Okay, yes, he is a character who's pretending a little girl, because from what I read of the synopsis of Leon in that film protects Natalie Portman's character, who at that time was like basically the same age as Nico is depicted here. So he's trying way too hard to look the parts, because Keigo has been one of those characters who would really get into the role he's playing, and he's peeking around, basically looking around, basically really absorbing himself character-wise into the role of being the bodyguard and being Leon. So Maureen's like, oh, Nico over there, isn't he one of your bodyguards? And of course it's Khan, who is dressed up as if he's like protecting the president or prime minister or prime minister. He is going way overboard. He's like, okay, walkie-talkie's ready. Oh, is he over here? Are they over here? Are they over there? Everyone is just looking at it. Like everyone is just bamboozled. Like I can just imagine them all walking through the mall and they just see Khan and they're just like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, the people in the background are just looking at, they're probably just thinking like, what the hell is this guy up to? So yeah, Khan looks the part, and she'll give him that much, but he stands out like a sore. Yeah, basically stand out like a sore thumb. He totally doesn't need the shades or the walkie-talkie. He's stuffed his shirt in to make himself look more jagged, and he looks basically too American. And Khan, that's not a guy who looks out for a teen witch. That's a guy who guards basically what I said. Like, it looks like a guard that just guards presidents and prime ministers, and basically the big wigs. So yeah, this is all too much for Nico, especially when Khan's just like, Roger that, Alpha 5 Charlie, Beta, Alpha Data, can you hear me? Okay, Beta team, you're going over there, Delta team, you're going over there. I can just imagine that's all running through from Khan's mind. And of course, Mirio being Mirio, has to go the extra mile and cross-dress as a high school girl himself. He's trying to disguise himself to blend in, basically doing everything, every single idea. One of the boys is taking on an idea that Nico said, like, okay, you got to protect me, you got to stand around and protect me and make sure that nobody's getting to me. You got to look at me from a distance, you got to blend in with the crowd. And this is what Mirio is doing. He's blending in with the crowd. He's trying to disguise himself, but he looks so cute that he is standing. He's not trying to stand out, but at the same time he's standing out, because even cross-dressing as a girl, Mirio is still cute enough to be like that. And yeah, he is pretty cute, dressing up as a girl. As Nico's like, come on, Mirio, remember how you look like that? And yeah, this is where Mirio is getting hit hard, which brings in Murray dressed up as the Terminator from Terminator 2, because they do mention it's the plot of Terminator 2 where the Terminator comes back in time to protect John Connor, or in this case Nico. And yeah, of course, Murray has to do the Hasta la Vista baby line, and yeah, even Murray is now peering around the corner at her, and he knows, and she knows she asked them to do this, but still, the crazy picture that they all make together, you can guess that they're trying to guard someone, but no way am I going anywhere near them. Like, Nico is just so freaked out by what they're all doing that she's like, this is too much for me, I am not going anywhere near you guys. And of course, as Nico says this, Mary points out like, oh, there's a really weird guy coming at us, maybe a criminal. He's looks like he's someone who's drunk on his feet, and he's coming at us this way, being totally drunk. As the drunk guy is like, oh, what is it to you girls? I'm not bothering no one, so I can drink as much as you want, and they're both there like, no, you really can't, kind of bothering us, before he starts to get rid of, like, what did you say? I'm gonna come after you and everything. And this is where they all step in, all basically becoming human shields around Marie and Nico, as Mirio points his blade directly at the drunk guy. It's like, and it's like, my blade is warning at first. Feeling a little more sober now. If not, the next strike will leave a mark on you. So I guess you should just go away. Before Mori says, okay, Mirio, that's enough. I'm sorry, sir, but this is our job. We don't want to hurt you, so it would be great if you just like scuttle along and pretend that none of this ever happened. And yeah, seeing this just gets the drunk guy being like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm sorry. Bye. And this is where Nico is just there like, oh, you guys, thanks for coming for me, and they apologise for Nico causing the mess and everything, but Nico says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You guys were right when you said you always train to keep me safe. This was amazing," which is what they said earlier on in the chats, which is something I didn't bring up because they had all been having secret bodyguard familiar trainings, and Bam was like, "Hey, I didn't even know about this, and I'm meant to be technically Nico's main familiar." Well, I guess she's part of. Well, I guess she's like shares that role with it, but yeah. I would say, like, out of all of them at this point, like, Ban, despite how lazy he is, could potentially be the most, the most useful of her familiars, because she could turn it into a dragon! Like, Ban can turn into a dragon, however lazy she is, she could still turn into a dragon. But yeah, Maury says, "You don't need to be so cautious that you give up on having fun, Nico." And Karen's like, "Yeah, don't worry, we'll make sure you stay safe." And this is where Maury is just there, like, staring like, I think I know this guy. Before she says, "Oh, is that you, Mojito? That was so cool. You're all cool and everything." And of course, we get a roundup of the chats with all the guys in the bodyguard attire doing crazy wacky shit, including Mario going to the restroom, but then not realizing, like, "Oh wait, I'm still a boy, so I can't be going in that restroom," and that's when the chapter ends. So. Really fun, enjoyable chapter, but at the same time, this and the next one I feel like needs to be the last shots where we have these kind of random, goofy antics before we start. Like, okay, now we need to get back into the serious stuff because we haven't had a serious arc since the Phantom Blaze arc, and we really need to start getting up to that point because we're literally nearing 100 chapters since the start of part 2, and we really need to, like, I feel, pick up the pace now, get back into a serious arc so that we can get back to Nico being her regular self and seeing the consequence of her actually being back to her regular self. But yeah, fun chapter and everything, and it's going to be the same for the next one. So yeah, moving on to chapter 206, titled Happy Go Cookie. And with a title like that, when I first read this chapter, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like something called 100 Girlfriends with Kusumi and just and like if Kusumi took cookies and put their drugs in them and seeing what she could get out of them." This would exactly be like the plot to a Kusumi random chapter from 100 Girlfriends, which again, go and read that series. Like, trust me, it is just as fun and wacky as Witch Watch. So yeah. This chapter starts off with Nico wanting them to have a cookie party. The cookies that she baked themselves, and she made a ton. So she's like, "Hey, feel free to eat a lot of them." As Maury says, "So that's why you've asked us all to be here." And Karen's like, "Oh, what kind of cookies did you bake?" Before they actually seen them, and they look so different, so wacky, and so out there that they can't help but notice this. Visual impact, they're all manners of shapes and colours, and they've turned out a little different, but they're all yummy. I promise. That's what Nico was saying. Like, no, don't worry about it. Like, I know they turned out like not what you expected, but trust me, they are yummy. As Barnes says, like, "Oh, this one's got some kind of sprinkles on it," and Nico says, "Yeah, I'll put different stuff on all of them. Some have shadings of sugar on them. These have all green tea leaves on them, and those have almond." That one word, almond. That one fruit that I have always had trouble pronouncing, and she put a spell on all of them. Yeah, I can imagine, like, she just used the spell, traveled to the 100 Girlfriends universe, got with Kusumi, made these, and traveled back. Like, this is just a straight up plot that Kusumi would do with 100 Girlfriends. So, whereas Kusumi would use science, Nico would use magic, which, yeah, Nico Kusumi crossover. Someone make that happen. But yeah, they're special cookies. Before someone says, "Don't say special," like they've got a certain leaf in them. Like, they're not even trying to hide the fact that they think they're going to be, that they think there's some sort of concoction going on here. And Nico's there like, "Come on, relax. It's just a little charm. I had a ton of fun baking these cookies. I wanted to share that feeling with everyone, so I infused it into the cookies, which is condition condition condiment. And they're like, oh, that's awful sweet sentiment, it really is, but yeah, no reassuring. Before Murray says, well, appearances aside, they don't seem to be dangerous, and if Nico made them for us, it would be rude if we didn't at least try them. So after everyone has tried one, the spell activates, and lo and behold, as soon as the spell activates, Cara comes in, which, hey, I haven't seen her in a while, which again, it's built up to the fact that, yeah, we're getting back to that, we're getting back to the notion that she will be back in high school, will be back in Karen's class with everyone, and even Karen says like, hey, anybody around, is Nico here? I heard she's a second year middle schooler now. I was in the area, so I bought these donuts to share with everyone to kind of celebrate, and I really hope we get more of Karen moving forward as well, because she's got Shiki, her familiar herself, and you can do a lot of interesting stuff. Like I want to imagine like Shiki and Karen have been trained like to actually fight side by side and influence more Shiki's powers, which maybe we'll see in future chapters, maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, after she sees everyone and seeing how different everyone is because of the spell, she's just there like, what the hell happened? How many times is this going to happen? Why are you guys always doing this every time I come around? This is disgusting, it's disturbing. And what did you do to yourselves this time? Like, she's kind of self-aware of like, oh my god, every single time I come around, something crazy has happened. This is the first time I've been around in a while, and again, something crazy is actually happening. Can you guys not keep on doing this? And yeah, we see Nico in just like a praying motion, very stiff, very stern, as Carlos was like, you are Nico, right? Did you do this or anything? And Nico, I could just imagine, is just like, very stoic, stern, like, indeed. As Karen questions like, so why are you Jizzo's statue? And she explains like, I prepared a batch of enchanted cookies of which everyone partake. This is the result you see. It is plain that I am the one responsible. However, I do not yet fully comprehend the effects of this magic spell that I cast. I am fully ashamed of my own impotent. Yeah, so I imagine that's kind of like what she's actually sounding like, as Cora's like, well, wait to be too formal, though I guess it's the side effect of the spell, but everyone else is different, so I am confused about what is actually going on here. Before she says like, okay, I guess to make it easier for myself, we'll take it one person at a time. As she go, I do like how everyone that's been put under the spell has a different art style to them. So like Nico is very 3D, if that makes sense, but is more like a clay motion character, whereas Khan is more like just like a childish scribble, and yeah, every time he speaks it's more like, oh, you betcha, but it's more like, oh, you betcha. Before Kara says like, I like the enthusiasm, but it's weird you're the only one at a way lower resolution. Your false sounds compressed. Are you trying to hide your identity or something? And Khan explains like, you've got a problem with the way I am, like basically like, oh, you got a problem with me? You want me to kick your ass and everything? That my foot tackles your backbone? And Carl's just like, whoa, okay, that's too Karus, even for you. No, I don't have a problem. I'm trying to help you out here. I'm just trying to see like what the side effects of this spell is. As Carl says like, oh yeah, shoot, sorry about that, babe. And yeah, Khan at this point is just kind of annoyed at Khan. And surprise, Keigo and Mirio are the ones that seem the most normal at first, but as we get on the chapter, yeah, they are just as effective as the others. You just can't see it at this point. So yeah, continuing on, Keigo says in quite a calm voice, for the corrosion on it of his off-brand babe comment, I do have to agree with you. You are kind of an attractive woman, Kara. Before Karen points out like, oh yeah, Keigo, you don't don't look like you've changed at all. Wait, were you always the type to read old books? As he says, yeah, looks like I managed to escape this time. I'm sorry you had to, your visit had to turn out like this again. You mean this one by Kenji Miyazawa? You know me, when I like a book, I reread it time and again, which, yeah, a lot of people should do that more often, like read books or reread books time and time again, which, by the way, we're in a book series at the moment called The Dorset Crime Series. Really great, really good series. Would recommend it. Really gets some interesting characters and their struggles and everything. Really like that series. And yeah, she points out like, oh, I didn't even notice you were here, and you haven't changed much, have you, Miu? And Miu says, no, I did eat a cookie too, just like the others. And Kara's just like, huh, weird. What the heck is this spell? Its effects are just, to me, just sound so random. Before Miu says like, I do like how there's kind of like a subtle hint to the fact that Miu has changed. To what Mirio has changed, because if you look at like the dialogue bubbles that Kara has, Mirio's hers look like a bit more thicker in terms. Kara's look like a bit more thicker in terms of the boldness, whereas Mirio's look a little bit more trimmed and thinner. Like that kind of like gives you the clue as to what he is going through. Which nice subtlety that has been put in there. And it helps to give a distinction to everyone of like who is actually talking. Like, I do like that little subtle thing that they did put in here with Mirio's speech bubbles and how his dialogue looks a little bit more thinner in terms of like the way the words are spelled, where the words are put in here. Nice touch that they did there. So yeah, Mira says, I just had a thought, how what people can see isn't always everything that's there. If we assume the truth of an object is in the parts that isn't visible to the eye, I think we all need to start looking for what we can't see. Again, solely hinting at like what is actually going on with him. Before they continue on and says, in fact, I'd go so far as to say looking for the truth isn't unlike seeing the truth. And Carlos is like, okay, so these two don't look like they've changed all that much. Like, let's see who's changed the most. And we see that Ban has just become this like shriveled old dragon, like really like old, like looking like can barely move or anything, really grouchy and everything. And Carlos is like, what the hell? This is Ban. Why does she look like more monster than mascot now? And Ban's just like, probably sounding like a really grouchy old, I know that looking like I do, that ain't nobody in the world who would ever love me. Why'd I have to be born this way? I think every day, I'm going to tell myself I'm going to get revenge on God for making me how I feel like this way. Before Karan says like, well, aren't you the impotence of the sad monster? This is too much to take. You're ugly both inside and out. Watch out, Nico. She's going to come for you. And Nico again is just there, right, really storing everything. If such is my fate for the misdeeds that I have wronged, then so be it. I humbly accept my doom. And Karan at this point is just like, both the way you're talking and your body too, and to top it all off, you're acting like one of those pitiful doomed errands, despite being 100% precisely perfect. Your fault. And yeah, Murray is like the one that like freaked me out the most. Like when I first saw him, I was like, oh my god, like what did he do to Murray? And it's just like, oh wow, you got it! Like really, like getting up in Karen's face and everything. And she says like, oh, don't surprise me like that. That reaction was way too intense. As he says, Yeppers, but you bet I'm Murray Hito. And she says, I don't understand, like, what the hell are you talking about? As Murray explains, like, oh my gosh, so much, no, before Karen realised, like, oh my gosh, so much about you, Murray, is so intense. Like, you use phrase and everything, like how it's all wrinkled up and everything. The fact that you get in my face and everything. I'm sorry, I just can't really accept that that this is you. As he says, hi, I guess Murray Haruto is not that big of a hit with the ladies. So yeah, we have Murray who's being really intense. We have Ban who's being like really ugly and stoic and old, and then we have Karen just being like this being like this crazy mad cookie dough. Like, yeah, this spell, you wouldn't want to deal with it in any capacity. So continuing on, Khan says like, oh, enough of your bobble-headed antics, and if you know something, tell us, and quit staying us with that brown sugar cookie of yours. As Murray says, now hold your horses, listen to everyone, so we can all get out of this situation. Let's take a good look at Nico. She's stiff as stone, right? Talks the same way too. Doesn't that tell you something? Let's all give it a good hard thought, really. So what do you guys come to the conclusion with? And he said, this is the idea he prophesizes, like, oh, she ate a stiff cookie, and yeah, they're just like, well, trust them, Morihito, to figure out everything. But Kara doesn't get what's going on here. So she's like, okay, can you please explain it in a way that even I can understand? So the logic goes that Nico wanted to imbue the cookies with her feelings of joy and fun, so that she could also share them. But this spell just imbues people with the same characteristics of the cookie that they actually ate. So, oh my god. So yeah, Nico ate the stiff cookie, so she herself became stiff. But yeah, basically everybody's body is turned into the cookie that they ate. As Miyu says, like, oh, when you're trying to solve a problem, the important part is to take an objective stance. Basically, you shouldn't think of things in a subjective way, but instead take a bird's eye view. The issue is that the idea of thinking objectively comes from the subjective opinion that yeah, so basically just babbling on and on and on and on about the most important part is an objective stance. And again, object. That's kind of like giving another clue to what he's going on about. Before they're like, oh yeah, just drop here. I don't know what it is, but I can't follow with what you're actually going on about today. And Karen's just like, hey Nico, can you just dispose of it? Of this, and Nico is just there like, oh, it is indeed possible for me to perform such a feat. However, should fate have decreed that we be as we are, then far from it to be me to change it. And again, Kara's just shaking at this point, like, just do it already. Why are you being so stubborn about it? You've changed everybody's bodies when you did this. It was your careless change that made them this way, and she's just at this point like, oh, it's no use. She's too stubborn. I can't deal with this. And there may be a way. Should I find it in a condition opposite to the current state and eat it, the two effects may cancel each other out. So basically, getting like the opposite of the cookie that they actually have. That might be a way that they can actually cancel it out. As Karen says, like, oh, that makes sense since you're stiff right now. If you eat the softest cookie, that might actually change back. So like, she's like, okay, guys, you've got to find out what cookie you ate and what's going to be the opposite of it. Before she says, hang on, do you guys even know what cookies you ate or the state you're in? We kind of need, as Murray says, oh, we kind of need to verbalise that first, don't we? So how do we do this? As Keigo says, oh, what about finding adjectives? So we've already got stiff and soft and Nico. Why not try ones that fit with everyone else? Before they bring up like, oh, you're being strangely good today, Keigo. I mean, yeah, he's not exactly like the kind. No, he is a kind person. So like, I don't get like, why would this be like? This is just like another side of Keigo just coming out in droves, essentially, like just the full-on good guy part of himself. But I digress. Khan got the Coruscant Coro's cookie Bang got the ugly cookie. Morihito had the intense cookie. So they're just like, okay, Keigo, which one did you get? You ate two different than normal. So they conclude like, yeah, it's just being a really good guy to get today. So maybe he ate the good cookie. And this is where Karen brings up the other elephant in the room of like, yeah, we still don't know what cookie you ate, Mirio. And Mirio continues to go on by saying, but wouldn't you say not knowing is the biggest clue to knowing? Like talking in riddles and everything. The first step to knowing something is to recognize that you don't know. You don't know it to do that, and you can say that you know one thing. The next step is to understand why you don't keep it to keep up, and you learn more about it. In other words, the moment you realise you don't know something is effectively the moment you can say you truly don't know it. As they think like, yeah, he is saying quite a lot of things, and again, like, quit it with all this crap. You're acting like you're being all deep when what you really saying is as one-dimensional as paper, and this is where they get the big clue here. When they look at him from the side instead of looking at him front, he's so thin and so angular that they realise like, oh, it's the thinny, it's Mirio ate a cookie that was paper thin, so he's basically literally become a one-dimensional character. So I wonder if you could rip him in half. Like, that always happens with one-dimensional characters. So he's a one-dimensional character, looking like a body pillow, which is when he falls back and Keigo actually catches him. That's what Keigo actually compares it to, being as cute as a body pillow. And yeah, they say like, wow, you really were a good... Yeah, Keigo ate a good cookie. Like, that was kind of like the most obvious one here. But again, Keigo is still a good guy. I guess it's because, like, when he ate the good cookie, that just erased Wolf from him for temporarily. Maybe that's the kind of angle that they're going with here. But the bottom line is they now know what all the cookies they have, so now they can finally get out the opposite cookies that they can all actually. And as they do this, and as they're all talking, Khan says, okay, this is the finest looking one. Nico's chosen the softest one. Mirio's chose the thickest one. Murray's chosen the plainest one. Ban's chose the beautiful one. And Keigo's chosen the worst one. But again, like, this doesn't make any sense for Keigo. Like, he's not the worst. He really isn't the worst. I guess he thinks of himself as the worst, but he really isn't the worst. So yeah. Well, it should have worked. It kind of backfired, and the new effects just got added onto the old ones. So yeah, now they're all completely insanely different from what they were before. Like, Nico is still stiff, but she's soft like jelly. Mirio's become taller, and the intensity of Murray has made him feel invisible, and now Keigo feels bad right now. So yeah, it goes stiff, soft, ugly, beautiful, thin, tall, intense, light, good, bad. So hey, I guess Keigo is back to his normal self, and he's the only one back to himself. But they hope everyone in the whole wide world had a nice day today, and that's where the chapter ends. Which, by the way, I did have a nice day today. Thanks for asking me, manga. So yeah, whoa, those two chapters were a mountain to get through, but we got through them, everyone. So yeah, cookie chapter, again on par with the bodyguard chapter. Fun chapters. Don't get me wrong, they're really fun chapters, but like I said, I feel like at this point we're really pushing back. Like, okay, Nico really now has to get, especially since we had Kara in this chapter, which we haven't had in a while. We haven't seen her in a while. So yeah, we really need now to start thinking about, okay, Nico is now on the verge of getting back to being her normal self. After nearly 100 chapters, now we're nearly to like, okay, the plot needs to be getting set in motion, and we need to be moving on to part 3, because I feel like the Adventures of the Small Witch, Nico's not a Small Witch anymore, so I feel like they're all gone. We're now moving on to part 3, which is probably going to be like, okay, now we're going to move into the resurrection of Drew, and then part 4 is going to be the final part of the series where we get Juru probably taking over Nico and starting the new war, the new 1,000-year war of the witches and the warlocks. I feel like that's how the rest of the series is going to be structured, and I get the feeling that they're deliberately waiting until we've reached the 100 chapter mark with part 2, because we're very nearly there, if not already surpassed it, which. Again, I do like that the author has actually taken his time, like spreading out the parts evenly and giving them their own due diligence. Rather than being like, okay, this is part 1. We give it like over 100 chapters, and then part 2 is only like 40 chapters. Like, no, spread them out. Make them as long as you need. Make them as evenly distributed, so that one part doesn't feel like it's rushed or dragged on. Now, to be fair, I do feel like part 2 has slightly dragged on a little bit, but again, we're moving like ever so close now. Like, we're really ramping up to the point where Nico does actually get back to her normal self and getting back to the main plots of Witchwatch. But anyway, guys, what did you think of these 2 chapters? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.